So we have a little bit of a look inside of Nintendo's thinking behind the pricing, the potential pricing for the Nintendo Switch 2. We don't, of course, have actual pricing as of right now. This is something that I would hope we're going to have revealed at the maybe end of the Direct, the April 2nd Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, which they just announced is going to be also to be taking place at 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern. I don't know why they just randomly said, hey, here's the time, but they just randomly tweeted out the time earlier today. So they're talking a little bit about the pricing and what's kind of going on behind their thinking behind what the pricing, could be. And it's both reassuring, but also a little bit, concerning based on a couple other things. Anyways, we'll get into that. If you enjoyed this one, leave a like, subscribe for more. Let's go ahead and jump straight into this. This one's coming from VGC once again. And this is coming from Nintendo's president, Shuntaro Furukawa, who yes, I'm really bad at pronouncing names, especially Japanese names. I'm working on it. But during a Q&A following Nintendo's Q3 financial results, he was asked about the company's thoughts on hardware pricing. So he was asked specifically if there was going to be any change to Nintendo's stance on what constitutes as an acceptable price point. Given, of course, various global economic factors and things like that, VGC reports. He replied that not only does Nintendo have to take into account Japan's increased inflation rate, it also has to consider that the exchange rate environment has changed considerably since the Nintendo Switch launched in 2017. So that's unfortunate, and that's the concerning part, because obviously they have to take that into consideration, and our current economics state, if you will, is obviously not great, especially with exchange rates, things like that as well. So that's the part where it feels like it's probably going to end up might potentially be a little bit pricey. But however, he did note that Nintendo also has to consider the affordability that our customers expect from Nintendo products, and that's the reassuring part, saying that the company needs to take all of these factors into account when considering the pricing of its products. So it's a little bit of a balancing act, right? They're not trying to overprice this thing, right? They understand that what they've always delivered is sort of like an affordability, right? They try to make it affordable to as many people as possible. Obviously, gaming consoles, they're still going to cost. They cost a lot to produce, and usually companies, come in at a loss with consoles. They usually make that up with software, things like that. But again, there's a lot of factors kind of playing into this. But what's reassuring is that they're not trying to just overprice this thing or whatever. They want to present a price point that again, customers expect from Nintendo products, that that it's like an affordability price point, right? So that's good. That's comforting. So they're taking all that into consideration. He also mentioned, as a side note, there's no plans to change the price of the original Nintendo Switch at this time, which is interesting because they're creeping up slowly to becoming the Nintendo Switch becoming the greatest selling console of all time. The PS2 is at 160 million. The Nintendo Switch is currently sitting at about 150 million, almost 151 million as of the end of December. And, maybe a little bit of a price cut would give them that extra little, push to get to that number one spot. They might make that number one spot either way, but it might be worth considering. Maybe not right now, right? He says not at this time. Maybe once the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out, maybe then the original Switch gets a price cut, because they did say they're going to plan to continue to support the Switch 1 after the Switch 2 launches. For how long, again, we don't know. These things could be a couple years, a few years. It's really hard to say. But all that to say, what do you guys make of all this? Does this give you a little bit of comfort on the pricing, or are you still a little bit of, uncomfortable with the fact that, yes, he does mention there's a lot of things, right? Exchange rates, inflation. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's kind of, gonna make this more pricey than the original Switch. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let me know what you think would be a fair price point in your currency, of course. I don't know. Everybody's from a different place. So let me know in the comments where you're from. Don't give me any specifics, but just let me know your currency, right? If you're going to comment, be like, hey, I would like to see it cost, I'm Canadian, right? So in Canadian currency, it could be, I don't know, let's say it's probably going to be pushing 500 Canadian. It's probably going to be 400 USD, and then whatever other currency you are across the world. I would like to hear what you guys think would be a fair price point in your currency, if you will. So let me know. Stick around for more. Be sure to subscribe for more Nintendo-based content, and I hope to see you guys soon in another one. Tell them, friends, game on, and thanks for watching.